again, Tuba Skinny. Thank you. So those of y'all who have not been part of Ogden After Hours before, it is a great pleasure to have you here. This is a really incredible group of men and women who have dedicated their lives to music. That is incredibly courageous to do. To walk away from a paycheck to play music is a hard thing to do, and they are incredibly talented kids. I say kids because I just dated myself. Foiled!
Hey, what you trying to say, eh?
But it's important to hear and love their music, but it's also very important to hear their story, to find out where they're from, how and why they've dedicated their lives to this form of art. So we're going to bring in, every week we bring in a moderator, we sit down with the artist and we have a short conversation. We're going to find out where they're from, why they've dedicated their lives to music, what these influences are, why is it this kind of music, why play the washboard maybe. Sorry. They are all incredibly talented collectively and individually, so I'm looking forward to hearing this conversation. This is also where all of our staff change from museum administrators to second grade school teachers. And we remind you to use your inside voice. So, we ask politely now, shh. Beautiful. Please welcome Alex Rawls and Tuba Skinny. Woo!
She's like right at the bar.
Sorry.
Well, thank you. That was a pleasure.
Thank you.
So one thing I have to know is, as you all sit here very comfortably, does it change the way you play if you're sitting down or standing up?
We actually tend to sit down while we play. So I suppose it would if we were standing up. We could stand, but Todd has a tuba, it's pretty heavy. He prefers to sit. And I don't know, I think it just keeps us tighter together. We like get down and get to it.
Now, we should probably do here a sound, who's who, so we know who's talking.
My name is Erica, I'm talking.
Okay, that's one.
Okay.
Who else? Can we identify the band?
That's Craig Flory over there playing the clarinet. Shay Cohn on the cornet. Barnabas Jones on the trombone. I already told you who I am. I'm talking. Winfield Burdick on the tuba. Jason Lawrence on the banjo guitar. And Robin Rapuzzi on the washboard.
Okay, and so one last piece of sort of housekeeping. Can you give me the short version of the Tuba Skinny story?
Sure. Yeah, we all met in New Orleans. None of us were born here. We all were just traveling and sort of gravitated downward. And met on the street and just started busking for fun. And that's something we still do almost every week. And it just went from there. We really enjoyed it, and we got a great response from people that were listening, so we continued to play. And that was about 5 years ago we began.
So who traveled from the farthest distance to get here?
I think that'd be myself and Craig Flory.
Is your mic on?
I don't know. There will be.
What moment?
Yeah. I think Craig Flory and I came the furthest. We're both from Seattle.
And what inspired y'all to come to New Orleans?
Well, I came down here to write stories, but I ended up playing roots music.
Do you still write?
Yes, every day.
Cool. And do you have stories out in the world, or you have stories in your computer?
Well, I have a couple stories and short poems that are published, but nowhere you guys would know about.
Right. So one of the things I'm always find fascinating is when a band chooses this music, because it's not like this is the music. In all likelihood, you can correct if I'm wrong, but this in all likelihood isn't the music you grew up with. This is certainly not the music on the radio. And so, my assumption is that this music represents a choice. And so, how did you come to it?
Well, I did grow up listening to this music at home. Of course, it wasn't played on the radio, but I guess I was kind of predisposed to it because I listened to it a lot. My dad had a pretty extensive record collection. But I think for me, it was definitely about timing. It was when I arrived in New Orleans and the people that were playing this music, they really inspired me, and it felt like something I could do. I can't really play an instrument, but I really wanted to sing, and I felt like I really resonated with the songs I was hearing, and I really gravitated towards the music and it just felt really welcoming and like something anybody could step into and be a part of.
Where were you, and why were you? This was the music your parents listened to. So, was it just they liked it, or was one of them a musician, or how did that happen?
Yeah, my dad, he really appreciated all the roots of blues and jazz. He still does, and he was a musician, and so was my mother. She was a singer, actually. So I heard a lot of music around the house, so it was very inspiring to me.
Did you want to be a musician, or was it simply a yes?
Yes.
Yes. So,
a resounding yes.
So when you were, was this the music you wanted to play, or was it the music that when you got here you found open to you?
Got here and I found it, and I really enjoyed it.
What did you want to play?
I don't know. As a kid, I wanted to be on Star Search. I don't know, maybe sing a pop hit or two. I was really into country music. So it just kind of took me. I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it at all, really.
Anybody else? How did you come to this?
Well, Todd and me and Barnabas started playing jazz down here because we were all learning our instruments, and it was a really accessible form of music to start with. It seemed like folk music because you just learned a very simple melody. You can figure out the fingerings. You can just figure it out on your own. And that's what was that's what drew me to it. And that we met people down here that were playing it, and it was really magnetic and fun. So we joined along and we kept doing it.
See, that interests me, because one of the things I think I was kind of hoping someone would say something like that, because I think one of the things that's interesting about traditional jazz and what you're doing is that it seems like there now is people who are learning to use this music to some degree socially, in that rather than being a music that is passed down from generation to generation, is music that people are learning collectively, and so it's part of not just its music, but it's part of how people interact with each other.
Well, New Orleans is also really special for that. When we came down here, we met people right away, and we met each other really fast. And music was our binding thing. And this kind of music was just a way to pass the time. It was learning these songs and then playing them for people once we had learned them.
Now, one of the things I had Linda Lee from Brave for the Riff Raff was telling me that there's a whole sort of hierarchy of busking, of places you busk. Is there any truth to this, or is this something that was in her head?
I wouldn't call it hierarchy, but I definitely would. There's something to it. It's more competition, if anything. Competition for spots. But a lot of people, such as us and a lot of bands that are friends with, we all share spots, and we try to make it a collective thing for as many musicians and bands as possible.
Are there more and less pressure-packed places to play when you're playing on the street?
There's only a few places that bands can play.
Right. Okay.
But single or duos or single musicians, they can play wherever they're not going to be kicked out.
Right, and this is on the street, not in clubs.
Right. When you travel, do you also try to play on the streets if possible?
Yeah, all the time.
Where's the most interesting place that you've been able to play on the street? The place where you're like, I can't believe I'm playing here.
I mean, Europe. Well, yeah, Tasmania. Did we busk in?
Yeah, we busked on the border.
We played in Hobart, Tasmania. But the first thing that came to my mind was Europe, just different parts of Europe, like in France and Spain. Yeah, we busked down the street in Mexico. But in Europe, a lot of the towns are built around old centers, so there's almost always a place where the traffic's blocked off to cars, which helps us a lot because we're acoustic. So.
Do audiences in different places react differently to busking?
Yes.
Yeah, like San Severo, Italy. People didn't really react at all.
But it's really, honestly, there's like maybe 2 or 3 types of reactions. There's people who look overjoyed to see us, they're really happy to see us. People who look like their mom just died. They're like, you can't tell if they're happy or sad or what's going on. And people who look confused. But I do think all of those people are enjoying it. And I think that when it's hard for us to understand the faces that people are making, it's because they've never seen anything like us before. And they're trying to make sense of it. But I do think in the end that everyone's enjoying the music. We've never had a truly bad response. Did anyone throw water on us?
I'm just thinking of San Severo. Remember that? We played in that flea market, and no one would listen to us. There was so much else going on. But that was when the economy was really bad in Italy too.
There's definitely times you have to place yourself accordingly, obviously. And if you're, in the midday sun and it's 100 degrees out and people are trying to get home and run for cover, that's maybe not the best time to seek an audience. Yeah.
Is that a lesson that you learned the hard way?
Yeah. I mean, we've spent a lot of time just sort of roaming around and trying to make a little money on the way and busking where we can find somewhere to busk, and sometimes successfully and sometimes not. Yeah.
Now, I heard y'all mention Tasmania. Hey, you recorded your most recent album in Tasmania, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so A, how do you get to Tasmania? And B, how does recording an album there happen?
You have to fly there.
Okay. All right.
And our recording experience was pretty magical, actually. We have a lovely guy named Jordan Berzar who lives in Sydney, Australia, and he helped us put together a tour. And then he had a friend, recording engineer, who lives in Tasmania, in the jungle, surrounded by paddy melons and funny little Australian creatures. He invited us to his house and recorded an album for us. It was pretty great.
Does recording, for your music, does where you record change things?
Definitely. Yeah, we're not typically very comfortable in a studio setting, so we like to do it at home or somebody else's home. Anyone else?
So I have a no and I have a yes. So in what way does did Tasmania affect anything, or did just?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was beautiful. We had so much space around us, and I remember we were, all the horns would warm up and either part of the property, and you could hear each horn individually resound, and then we'd hear all these strange birds flying over, making strange noises. And You know, I connected us in a great way. We had so much space, and it was in a friend's home. We were sleeping in fruit sheds. Yeah.
So, so taking you completely out of your life. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The furthest south we've ever been, I believe.
Yeah.
By far.
I guess the southernmost point in the entire world.
So you're playing Jazz Fest this year, correct?
No, they didn't accept our application.
Okay. Damn them.
You like rock and roll or something.
No, they accepted it. But we're playing at the International Festival in Lafayette.
Oh, very cool.
Which is the first weekend Jazz Fest. Thank you. We're really excited.
Will this be your first time at it?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Do we have any questions for Tuba Skinny? Yes.
I'm sorry, can you repeat louder?
How did you get the name?
We'll let Tuba Skinny do that.
You're the one.
I mean, there was a famous tuba player here, Tuba Fats, and yeah, he was great. I mean, he led so many bands, and then, but you know, he did a lot on the street, and he actually protected busking on the street a lot. He fought a long legal battle, and that's one reason I'm interested to have the name still. But it was actually a joke that people, like one guy started calling on the way to the court. I'd be riding like, "What are you, Tuba Skinny?" You know, but he was talking about Tuba Fats. But I still like to bring up Tuba Fats for that.
I have a question over here somewhere. Yes, my friend.
The internet is really people from all over the world to come to see you here because we're from London, there are people from all over Europe. People come to see you because you're such a great band.
Do you think the internet has helped to bring people from around the world to come and see you?
How do you feel about it?
Yes.
Example A and B.
I call it the miracle. I think it's beyond my understanding, but I do realize that the internet has created a forum for people to view our music. YouTube has been a great way for people to do that, and so yeah, thousands of people in other places around the world have been able to listen to us play who wouldn't normally ever get to hear this kind of music, and we've gotten such a wonderful response from all those people, and it feels like a miracle to me because all we're doing is playing music.
All right, we have one more, my friend. When are Tuba Skinny coming to the UK?
Well, for all the UK folks out there, we were supposed to come this summer, but it fell through, unfortunately. So we're going to try again for next summer. But I'm not going to say anything until we're absolutely 100% certain that we're coming, so nobody gets mad at us and writes us nasty emails.
Yeah, I really want to go to the UK. I can't wait.
Yes, we'd love to come. So hopefully sooner than later.
Well, thank you all very much. I'd like to remind everybody that we do have Pyramid Strut
And Rag Band.
And Rag Band are both in the museum gift shop, so pick those up. And I believe Libra has news about our other friend in the gift shop, so we'll take care of that and then we'll back more music. Thank you all very much.